What is up, sexy beasts? Crazy Rabbit here, and today we're going to be comparing the Black Ops 2 KSG to the Black Ops 3 ARGUS and looking at both these weapons on round 50, so let's go ahead and get this shit started. So the first thing I'm going to do is let you guys watch and listen to both these weapons, both the unupgraded versions and the upgraded versions, just that way you guys can sort of get a feel for them, so here you go.
Generators is under attack.
So these two weapons are like the equivalent of each other in their own respective games. The KSG would be the Argus's equivalent, and the Argus would be the KSG's equivalent. Because to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure these are the only two weapons in zombies that actually shoot slugs. Now, in Black Ops 3 multiplayer, and I'm pretty sure in the campaign, the Argus did not actually shoot slugs. I know it's pronounced Argus. I'm just an idiot and like to mispronounce things. It actually shot buckshot, but they decided to make it shoot slugs in zombies, which basically means you're gonna have to be more accurate. It's not like a spread or anything. Just imagine like a solid rock hurling at you instead of like a million little pebbles. That's kind of the difference between a slug and buckshot. And one of the main differences is the KSG is actually a pump action, while the Argus is a lever action. And then we have a bunch of other differences, which we're about to get into. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is going to be the fire rate. So I compare both these fire rates side by side. I had to actually lower the KSG down to 10 shots because that's how much the Argus carries max. And I start shooting at the exact same time. The KSG is just a little itty bit faster. It was able to get like one shot ahead of the Argus. And in zombies, I really don't think you would ever notice that, especially since both these weapons are pump action and lever action, which means you have to click the button every time you want to shoot, so you're not going to be able to constantly keep shooting and shooting, so you can always experience user error and everything like that. So in zombies, even like in a life or death situation, I don't think you would really ever notice this itty bitty tiny difference, but it is always good to point out that the KSG does have a little bit faster of a fire rate. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be the accuracy. So we're going to be looking at like the hip fire and the recoil and everything. And when it comes to accuracy, I'm definitely probably going to have to give this one to the Argus. Now the reason I'm saying that is because those reticles are really tiny. I feel like when I'm using the Argus, I'm able to quick scope zombies from like halfway across the map without even ADSing. While when I'm using the KSG, anything from medium to far range, I have to aim down sights because those reticles are just a hair too big to where I don't think I can hit that zombie from halfway across the map. While with the Argus, on the other hand, I feel like as long as I'm in its range, I can hit anything without aiming down sights, and I can't say that with the KSG. And when it comes to recoil, I'm also going to have to give that one to the Argus too, because if you watch the KSG's footage, like the sights kind of go left and right, the Argus just kind of goes up and down, while the actual iron sights of the KSG kind of swerve left and right, and that can kind of be annoying. I mean, it's not something huge, but it's something that I notice every now and then about the KSG, and it kind of does bother me, and it kind of pushes me away from aiming down sights. So when it comes to overall accuracy, I'm definitely going to have to make the winner the Argus. Alright, the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be the reload speed. Now this one really isn't even fair. I have no attachments on the Argus. In private zombies, I'm not even high enough level to actually be able to customize my weapons, so it's completely stock. And if we look at the reload speed, the Argus is by far the winner. The Argus reloads in like 1 second, while the KSG has to put in like, I think it's like 1 shot unupgraded, and I think when you actually upgrade it, it puts 2 in, while the Argus just like reloads in 1 to 2 seconds. So the Argus is definitely the winner when it comes to reload speed. Alright, and lastly, before we actually get to the upgraded versions, we're going to be looking at the ammo. So the unupgraded KSG is going to hold 56 in stock and 14 in the actual magazine, while the Argus is going to hold 60 in stock and 10 in the actual magazine. So unupgraded wise, when it comes to ammo, they are both the same. And depending on which map you're actually playing on, the Argus can actually be a wall weapon, so you can always go back and buy more ammo. Now when we upgrade it, that's where the difference is. The Mistmaker, or the KSG upgraded, is going to hold 84 in stock and 28 in the magazine, while the Ancient Messenger, which is the Argus upgraded, is going to hold 96 in stock and 32 in the magazine. So there is a 16 shot difference. The Argus does carry a little bit more ammo, and with shotguns, that 16 shot difference does make the difference. Like if you were to tell me, oh, the Thompson carries 16 less shots than the Vesper or something like that, I'd be like, psh, so what, it's 16 shots with an SMG, it doesn't matter. But with shotguns, those 16 shots really do count, so when it comes to ammo, the Argus is definitely the winner. Alright, so now that we have these things pack a punch, let's go ahead and redo all the tests and see if anything actually changed. So when it comes to fire rate, nothing really changed. The KSG is still a little itty bit faster than the Argus. You would never notice it again in zombies, but I still do think that we should point out the KSG is still a little bit faster. Now when it comes to accuracy, that's kind of where things change up a little bit. So when it comes to like the hip fire and everything, I'm still going to give that one to the Argus. The reticles are still very tiny, a little bit smaller than the KSG. So when it comes to hip firing, I would definitely want to hip fire with the Argus all day instead of the KSG. But when it comes to recoil, that's where it kind of changes up. When you actually upgrade these weapons, the KSG's recoil kind of becomes bearable. It just gets a red dot, so you're really not swerving left or right, you're kind of just going up and down, as you would with any gun in recoil. But the Argus, on the other hand, it kind of adopted like the unupgraded KSG's recoil. It kind of goes all over the place because, well, it is a lever action, so you kind of have to do a little bit of work. The Argus kind of goes up and to the side, while the KSG kind of just stays in the same spot. So when it comes to recoil management, I'm definitely going to have to give this one to the KSG. So I guess overall accuracy, they're both tied. The Argus wins hipfire and the KSG wins recoil. But I mean, if you want to get really technical with it, you never ever really aim down sights with the Argus. So I guess the Argus would kind of be the winner in a weird way, but now let's just go to the next thing. Alright, next up, we're looking at the reload speed again, and this one is completely unfair. The Argus reloads in like 3 seconds, while the KSG has to put in like every single shot. This is completely unfair, but the Argus definitely does win the reload speed. It's 10 times faster than the KSG. Alright, and lastly, before we actually get to both these weapons on round 50, I'm just going to be showing you guys both these weapons with double tap and speed cola, just that way you guys can sort of see like what these weapons in their prime look like. And I definitely do think for the KSG, you're going to want speed cola, and for both these weapons, you're definitely going to want double tap. Double tap just makes these things like 10 times better, and really the only noticeable difference, like when you compare them side by side, is that the KSG's reloading time isn't 20 years long. But other than that, the results are still going to be the same because the perks do the exact same thing. There's really no difference. But I thought it would just be pretty interesting to show you guys what these weapons look like a little bit faster. Alright, so now that we have all the comparisons done, let's look at each of these weapons on round 50. Let's start off with the KSG. The KSG isn't going to get you anything really quick. It's not going to get you like a lot of kills really fast. It does do a lot of damage, especially if you're going for headshots. I think it's like one of the most powerful non-wonder weapon, like regular weapons in the game, and that's from every single game. It's not the most powerful, but it is definitely up there, so it's a very powerful weapon. But even though it's that powerful, it's still not going to get you kills very fast on high rounds, especially since it's a pump action shotgun. It's going to be a little slow, but it still will get you some kills over time because this thing does have a lot of penetration power. So if you shoot one zombie, it's going to keep going through and injure a lot of other zombies behind it. So as long as you're going for headshots and you have them all rounded up over time, you're going to be able to get a lot of kills, and that actually makes the KSG a pretty decent weapon to have on high rounds if your goal is simply just to get kills. If you're looking for fast kills, if you're looking for something to save your life, if you're looking for something to run around the map with, this weapon might not be for you. But if you're looking to just get overall kills, the KSG will definitely do that, especially if you have Double Tap 2.0. The KSG is a really good weapon. Now let's look at the Argus. Similar situation. The Argus is not going to get you any kills right off the bat. It's going to take some time, but as long as you get them all rounded up and start aiming for the head, over time, you're going to be able to get a lot of kills. It's going to be nothing fast. All you're going to need is a little bit of patience, and you're going to start to notice the zombies just drop. And really, I don't know how much damage both these weapons do upgraded. I would assume they are very similar. So if both these weapons were in the same map and you were to ask me which one would you choose, honestly, it's a coin flip. They are just so similar. They're like the exact same weapons that you could have either one on round 50 and you would be completely fine. Now, if you want to get down to the finer details, you would probably have to go with the Argus. It just carries more ammo, and it reloads like 10 times faster. Yes, the KSG shoots a little bit faster, but again, it's not even really that noticeable, and you can always put attachments on the Argus to make it even better. So I guess technically, if you want to really get down to it, the winner would definitely be the Argus, just because it carries more ammo and reloads so fucking fast. But in general, these weapons are totally even. They're like the exact same weapons, and there's really not a definite better one. If you were to ask me which one do I prefer, I just like the KSG. I don't know what it is about it. Might be how it looks, might be how it sounds. I just prefer that one, but I can acknowledge that the Argus is a really good weapon. So I'm very curious to know, which one do you guys prefer, the KSG or the Argus? Let me know in the comments. If you guys could, please leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Peace.